Welcome to Tactical Talk. This is Zain. Today the topic of our show is Russia-China relations in the current geopolitical scenario. To discuss this topic, we have with us today Alex Christoforou, the director and writer for The Duran, theduran.com. Welcome to our show, Alex. This is Zain. It's a pleasure to have you on Tactical Talk.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Alex, let's get to the first question. What are the odds that India would be willing to join the Belt and Road Initiative in current circumstances when China-Russian relations are blossoming, with Pakistan becoming a key partner state?
There's definitely some tension, especially in regards to India's role in the One Belt, One Road Initiative, which is spearheaded by China. China's recently been making a lot of deals with Pakistan, big deals, lucrative deals, and deals that will help bring the One Belt, One Road initiative closer to completion. Saying that, there's also been Chinese and Indian tensions along a crossway in Bhutan, which is a bottleneck crossway that connects all three countries and is really a choking point for all three nations as far as who controls that specific intersection. Saying that, I think that India doesn't have a choice but to jump onto the One Belt, One Road initiative because it is the only game in town. It's the only viable game in town. It's the one game in town that is going to happen with or without India, and 1.4 billion Indians cannot just stand by and see what is going to be the largest, most lucrative trade route pass them by. So India will have to resort to diplomacy, and will have to talk to China. Will have to deal with Pakistan to figure out a way to get involved in the initiative and to solve any disputes that are outstanding, which will impede it from taking part in this initiative, because the Indian population, as well as all of Eurasia and Europe, have nothing but to gain from the One Belt, One Road initiative.
Alex, would the prevailing situation on India-China border have any negative impact on regional economic activities, especially when Russia is already making inroads to Central Asian republics and South Asia?
Yes, it will have a tremendous negative impact if the tensions escalate in the Doklam choke point. But they're not, and they can't. Recently at the G20 in Hamburg, Modi and Xi Jinping stated as much, that they have to find a diplomatic solution to whatever disagreements they have. This is a situation that will have to get solved diplomatically. Maybe both countries will have to simultaneously remove their true presence from that choke point in that intersection between Bhutan, India, and China. Whatever the solution may be, it definitely cannot be a military solution. It will have to be a diplomatic solution, and it's going to have to happen because these are two superpower nations that are very much entangled and intertwined, not only regionally, but they're BRIC partners. They're involved in the Asian Bank together. India has funding for various projects for the Asian Bank. So whatever's going to happen, it's going to have to get resolved diplomatically. And it's going to have to include all of Eurasia, because the dream, the project, the New Silk Road is a Eurasian dream. It's a Eurasian project. And so the countries are going to have to learn to work together. And they have worked together, and they are working together in a lot of different organizations, most notably the BRICS.
What about the U.S.? Would its role eventually diminish in Asian geopolitics and politics?
Well, I think the U.S. is the most interesting component to what's happening in Asia and Eurasia. Obviously, the One Belt, One Road initiative is something that the U.S. Does not want to happen. It means that they will cede control of Eurasia to most notably China. And then, of course, you have Russia, India, Pakistan, and whatever other countries are involved in the Eurasian Silk Road. So the U.S. is definitely a player that is involved in Eurasia. They occupy Afghanistan. They occupy Ukraine. They they have a very well-known history of regime change in the region and instigating coups d'état in the region. So, if need be, the U.S. does have experience in overthrowing governments and putting in American-friendly governments, which could hamper the One Road, One Belt initiative. It can put brakes on the construction of the new Silk Road. Saying that, we need to see how Trump engages the region and how Trump engages Asia and how Trump engages Eurasia. I don't think the Trump administration has given a clear policy towards Eurasia, and its policy towards China so far has been very mixed. And it's shown that it doesn't really understand Chinese foreign policy vis-a-vis how it dealt with North Korea. Now, how China views Eurasia is something that the U.S. has to understand better to see how they're going to get involved in the new Silk Road, if there even is a place for American involvement in the Eurasian continent. Right now, from Obama, before Trump came into office, and looking at what Obama did, Obama's policy was more aligned towards trying to impede Eurasian integration. We'll see how Obama approaches Eurasia and China in this regard.
Political stability is the key, Alex, to economic progress. Do you believe that countries such as Afghanistan and some of those in the Middle East would be able to come out of their depression and problems for the Belt and Road Initiative to successfully proceed?
Yes, they could, but once again, we refer back to the previous question. The wild card in all of this is the United States. And when you take a country, in this case, let's take Afghanistan, it's been under U.S. occupation now for more than 16 years. And the country is not getting better, it's getting worse. And the conflict continues in Afghanistan. And so letting these countries further integrate into Eurasia means that American power on the Eurasian continent, Eurasia and Asia, this one big landmass, will diminish. And this is something that the United States is going to not let happen. It's going to try its best to not let its influence, one, in Asia, and number two, in Eurasia, diminish. But it's something that I feel it just can't be stopped. China is the runaway train. It's set out its vision for the future, and it's building on that vision. It's created a close partnership with Russia, and it's engaging many of the Central Asian republics, not with guns, not with regime change policy, not with threats, but it's engaging them with economic prosperity, with business, with deals, with money. And this is how you win countries over for the long term. And so there's a lot to be gained from smaller countries like Afghanistan or other countries in the region who want to be part of the One Belt, One Road. And there's a lot to be lost. And right now, the one country that looks like it might be on the losing end is the United States. Europe is also, the European continent is also trying to figure out how it can fit into the Eurasian reality. And once again, if Europe moves more towards Eurasia, it's going to definitely, it means it's moving away from American influence. So there's a lot at stake here, and there's a lot that's not being reported in the Eurasian Silk Road initiative that China is spearheading.
Thank you so much, Alex Christoforou, for being on Tactical Talk. It's always a pleasure having you.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
This was Alex Christoforou, the writer and director for The Duran, theduran.com. We were discussing Russia-China relations in current geopolitical scenario. Until the next episode of Tactical Talk, this is Zain. Take care and good night.